Okay. So again, good afternoon. This will be our new demonstration session for our topic, database sa? Database migration and submitting forms. Okay. So first things first, we need to ano muna. Ano yung unang gagawin natin? You need to ano muna, you need to check whether your computer has already installed or meron na kayong installed na MySQL sa computer ninyo. So usually, if you are or if you have already a installed MySQL, yun yung mga computer or PCs or laptop na naka-install na yung SAM, di ba? And then you will just turn it on or you will just enable it. So for example, on my end, I have installed ManSAM. I don't know if you can see my screen. So for example, this one. Di ba? I have here my SAM, ito. So my SAMP is 8.0.12. A new version is provided dun sa siguro. So if hindi pa kayo naka-install, but I do hope naka-install na kayo. So automatically when you install this platform, bibigyan niya kayo ng tatlo actually. But then I'll only be using two. You have the MySQL database, the server, and then you also have the web server that we usually use during our preview sessions. Okay? So you need to enable that one for us to do the database migration and yung submission of forms. Okay? Now, if you will try to access this one, for example, yung sa akin, I need to go to 127.00 tapos like that. Ito yung lalabas, di ba? So if you will access your local host, yung wala pang ano ha, yung hindi pa sa Laravel, ganito yung lalabas. Tapos you just need to go to PHP my admin. And this will be our interface for our SQL, for my SQL natin. Okay? So if you have undergone, I think, fundamentals of database as well as information management, and then ano pa ba? Yung mga classes natin about database, you are familiar with this one already. Okay? So just a quick recap lang. On the left side of this one, ito yung mga database natin na we are trying to use. Okay? Ito yung mga database na ginagamit natin or which are already created inside our local host or local server. Ito yun. Okay? Now, if you will try to remember as well the process of creating the database, yung ginagawa natin is that we just click on this one. Diba? If we click new, ito yung lalabas. Like it will ask for our database name. For example, demo, example lang ito example 3E. Okay? Tapos I will create na yun. So automatically, yan, it's now part of the list na dahil example 3E and it will ask me for the table. Okay, for example, I will create the table user and then I will click go. Tapos maghihingi yan or it will provide an interface kung ano man yung gusto nating ilagay na mga attributes sa table natin, di ba? For example, user ID, ano pa ba? Username, ay naka-ano na pala ito. User password, tapos user address. For example, we have varchar, dito varchar, tapos varchar. Okay. Example, dito 12, tapos dito 12, 12, 12. Okay? And then click natin yung save. So ito yung usual na ginagawa natin, di ba? Create tayo ng database, tapos create tayo ng tables. Yan yung usual na ginagawa natin whenever we would want to create or utilize SQL in our local machine, di ba? But in Laravel, iba yung approach ni Laravel. Si Laravel naman has this concept na dapat when we talk about or when we try to manipulate our database, we do that one in our Laravel app na yun mismo. Okay? Like we don't need to go to here bitaw. Like hindi natin kailangan pumunta dito just to make database or tables or whatsoever. Okay? Iba yung concept na pinapresent ni Laravel. Okay? So first things first, ginagawa yan ni Laravel because Laravel believes na in a collaborative project type of development. Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya dapat hassle if, for example, there will be changes in the database among the developers. Okay? Like for example, you have a project tapos 5 kayo. Diba? It will be hard for you or it will be difficult or it will be an inconvenient na for me to access the database is I need your permission or I need to do the local stuff on it, di ba? So yung ginagawa ni Laravel is that it will provide you with a platform na kung saan doon mo na lang gagawin yung pagmamanipulate with in terms of database. Okay? Like pag-create ng database, pag-create ng tables, okay? Lahat yan pwedeng gawin sa Laravel. You don't need to switch tab or go to the backend, okay? So Laravel will provide you with that kind of platform, okay? So to do that one, diba? For example, if you have a so for example, if you have an existing Laravel project, okay? Nakikita nyo ba nyo dito? Diba? This one we have first app 3, diba? And of course, if you notice here, we have here files, diba? These are our existing files. Guys, can you still hear me? Hindi na. Hello? Okay. Pag ano mo, so locate the .env file. Ito, locate the .env file. Ayan. Again, the purpose of your notes is for you to take down the process para during our demonstration, you will have a reference on how to perform our activity by next week. Okay? So you locate the .env, and after that one, locate as well itong part na to, yung my DB connection. So by default, or maybe if you will try to check on it, yung DB connection natin ang nakalagay is SQLite. But ito, we will try to change this one into MySQL. Okay? Again, change it into MySQL. Tapos, yung host natin, instead na naka-comment siya, remove natin yung comment natin na symbol na hashtag. Okay? Ayan. Up until sa DB password. Okay? Now, if you notice here, we have here the host. Usually, when we create the project, the Laravel project, it will already identify na dayon the database host and then the database port. You don't need to worry about that one. Yung configuration lang na hinihingi ni Laravel on your end is yung database name tapos yung password. Okay? So usually, for example, gawa ako ng database na Laravel 3E. Okay? Para I can differentiate yun na this is the database I've been using for this section 3E. Okay? So if you happen, for example, during your installation bitaw of the SAM, you happen to provide the password, you put it as well here, the password. Okay? But on my end, hindi ko nalagyan ng password. So I will leave it blank. Okay? Nakuha ba, guys? So another thing that you need to do as well is that ito yung sinabi sa akin ni Sir Kent na, Sir, i-remind mo na lang yung mga students na when they are doing their project in VS Code, you click on the file tapos i-click mo yung autosave para they don't need to save it from time to time bitaw, para automatically any changes daw na I will be making or the students will be making, masave na siya diretso dayon. Okay? Nakuha ba? So, nagets ba yung part, guys? Again, you change the SQLite into MySQL, retain the database host, the port, and then you change na lang dahil the database as the database name according sa kung sa manggaling ang i-require sa atua. Okay? Nakuha ba? Okay, so that's it. Next thing that you will need to check is yung mga migrations, di ba? We will now be looking into the migrations of our database. So where do we usually see that one? You click on this database folder, and then if you notice here, meron tayong migrations. Okay? So by default, Laravel created na already three major tables, but meron pa yung mga existing na mga relationship na table na ang table na ito. Okay? So if you will try to go back, okay, kanina switch lang ko lang, it's because I would want you to see the difference. So if you notice here, di ba? We only have Laravel tapos Laravel 3A. I did not create any, maski ako pang i-refresh siya. I did not create any database na ang pangalan is Laravel 3E, di ba? Wala man, di ba? So in our example here, wala po ta nag-create po gyapon og users, jobs, and any other attached dani nga ang tawag dito, attached na tables. So how do we do the database migration? there is one command that you will perform muna before everything will put into place. So again, after doing this one, ito, yung DB connection, check mo muna if meron kayong mga existing na migrations or mga data, mga tables, okay, na ima-migrate mo doon sa database. Ang mangyayari is that this the files here will be now placed onto this database na dayon. Okay? Like itong tatlo, i-implement siya dito sa database ng Laravel 3E. So paano yan gagawin? What you will do is to type this one. You have PHP artisan migrate. Okay. This PHP artisan migrate will help you migrate your created database schemas onto your database guild mismo. So, ang ato lang timan-an or what we need to remember is that once this is already executed, it will no longer be utilized na dayon. Okay? So, PHP artisan migrate, you press enter dayon, meron niyang error na lalabas or prompt, not error but prompt. You have here a warning. The database Laravel 3E does not exist on my SQL connection. Would you like to create it? So I just need to press enter lang dayon. And then it will do the migration. Okay. Kita ninyo guys, di ba? Ngayon na, creating migration table. And then yung running migrations. And if we will try to check our backend, ito, if you notice, if I will refresh this one, look what happened. Diba? Meron na siyang Laravel 3E dayon. Okay? If I will open this one, you notice here, meron na siyang existing. We have the users, meron na siyang cache, tapos yung jobs, di ba? Yan yung mga na-create niya. So even if it's only 3, but then sa code niya is that it encompasses different tables. So, kaya siya nag-create ng iba't ibang tables pa. But technically speaking, we only have 3 here. Users, cache, tapos jobs. Yan yung na-create natin kanina. Okay? Nakuha ba guys? Hello? Nakuha ba? Pwede? Nakuha ba? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tubag sa. Okay, I'm not, nalaba ko lang silbidaning apart. Okay. Sige. Now, after doing this one, let's now try to make some changes. Okay? Sir, what if lugar, di ba? For example, sir, what if na run na namo ang migration and then we would want to have some changes on the, for example, kanya lugar siya lugar sa users, example lang ni siya. So for example, instead of name, we'll have it username. Kung saan man namo lugar na siya, sir, and then namin nalimtan po nga column. What you will do is that we'll do some changes on it. So for example, migration bitaw nga table kanin sa users, di ba? Mo man siya, di ba, users table, di ba? So dili ka mapaingon dayon. Now, if you will try to check the code for this one, we have here, sigdan lang dapat nga part lang. This is the code we use to create those, kani bitaw siya bitaw, para bitaw mag-create ni siya nga part sa imong application. Kani siya nga code ang akong gipadagan. Okay? We have it here, the schema, it means table. Okay? Create table users with the following specifications dayon. We have ID, string name, we have ID, name, email verified, password, and then the rest dayon. Okay? So those are just the important things. Ang tawag dito, di ba, you have it here. We have here $sign table. This one is a variable use. Look at this one. Diba? It's a parameter of the function that indicates na table is a parameter that will look up to an object in our database called ID. Ayan. It will look up for the name. Ayan. It will create the name, kumbaga. The email verified. Now, ano naman tawag dito? This one naman also points, or ito naman, it's also a, it points as well to a specific description of that column. For example, ang sabi dito, if you will try to analyze this one, is that the email should be unique. Ibig sabihin, wala dapat kaparehas. Okay? So this part here, it's actually a description of the column, the email. Okay? How about this nullable? Yes. My question? Ano to? Sabi na ko niyan. Guys, if you have question, please don't hesitate to interrupt me. Okay, you have it here. For the email verified naman, you have here nullable, di ba? Ibig sabihin, pwedeng walang laman. Okay? This one is okay if there's no value. Okay? Pwede siya nga walay value. Okay? Muna siya. So, you can also have, sa tagali, sir, is it only limited to dalawa lang pwede? Ay, hindi siya, it's not only limited to two. Diba? Marami pa siyang ibang tawag dito, ibang descriptions that you can add as an attribute to our specific column. Okay? So our goal kanina is that we would want to change username into from name, tapos gawin natin username. So username, ayan. And then, ito naman, let's try to add one. Like for example, gawa tayo ng avatar. Guys, someone is raising their hand. Is there a question? I cannot see via my screen, guys. Ganun gatuklo ko ng raise your hand. Bagay po, what's your concern, bagay po? Marvy, what's your concern?
Natuplukan na, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay, let's go back. We have here, di ba, I've created avatar. And after that one, try natin na we would like to declare it as well na sa nagali. Ang tawag dito, nullable. Okay. Lumang spelling ng nullable. Blah, blah, blah. Am I right? Okay. Ayan. It's nullable. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng wala siyang value. Or whenever we would try to do an insertion, pwedeng walang laman yung form. Okay? So that's it. So, di ba, if you notice, this one is the change. Di ba? This is change number 1. Change 1 is from name to username. Ito naman, change 2. This one is a new column, di ba? This one is a new column. So, if we would want to make these changes reflected in our dito, yung gagawin natin is something like this one. So, again, this is only applicable lang kanito akong ihatag sa inyo nga command. It's only applicable if there are no records muna. So, for example, this one. If you can look at the screen, walang laman ang table na to. So we can still make some changes on it. Like pwede para siya utrohon. Okay? So to do that one, you just type PHP artisan migrate tapos fresh. Okay? So PHP artisan migrate fresh tells us na ang gagawin dito is that it will drop all of the tables tapos it will run again the migration. Ibig sabihin, if there are already existing records on it, ang mangyayari is that mawawala ang records tapos ibabalik niya na blank yung lahat ng tables. Okay? Muna, hindi sa pwede gid nga imo siyang buhaton or you are not allowed to do it if there are already existing records to the table. Okay? If you will run this one, look what will happen, di ba? It run again the migrations and pag i-refresh natin siya, look what will happen, di ba? Nanay username, nanay avatar. Nakuha ninyo, guys? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Nakuha ba? Sige.
Sir, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Sige. So, what if, lugar, like for example, another scenario is that, sir, what if nanay mga records tapos we just happen to forgot another column? Diba? Like for example, nanay mga sold yung mga records, Dani. So, di ba, you cannot do a migrate fresh naman. Kaya na may mga records, kumbaga. You just would want to, you just would want to do a add-on column, kumbaga. So, ang imong buhaton is different. Like, nabod siyang approach na pod. You go back again to your terminal. Kindly look at the process. Kindly look at the process. Di ba, if you notice here, you only have 3 files, di ba? So if you would want to add another bitaw dayon, ang imong buhaton is something like this one. PHP artisan, and you look at the code, migration, add, for example, katong sa user lugar. For example, dani nga part, buta na ako og kanagaling favorite color. Okay? Example lang ni siya. Add fave color column. I need to specify, pwede ko malibog if ever man lang galing mag inventory ko sa akong mga gipang migrate na ako. PHP artisan migration, add fave fave color column. If I will run this, oops, migrate na siguro. It's not migration. Oops, what are you? Blah 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 blah. But ayaw niyang gumana. PHP artisan could not open file artisan migration. Check muna natin na. Add save color column. But ayaw guys, wait muna. Did I already have the fresh na-perform na ba akong fresh ganyan, di ba? Guys,
Yes,
na-perform na
sir.
akong fresh ganyan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ayan. Wait muna. Let me check muna. Blah, 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 blah. Ay, kailangan din, guys. Dapat kay PHP artisan make. Ay, sorry, guys. Wait lang. Atong i-clear para makita ninyo. Okay. So, the syntax a while ago was wrong. Let me try to check muna. PHP artisan make migration day. Sorry, guys. And then fave underscore, fave color. Diba? Underscore color. Or add na lang. Okay. So, guys, the syntax here is kanisha. Like this one should not be modified. This part here is only the part where you can try to make changes. For example, if you would want to have another name for this one, ito lang yung part na pwede nyong galawin. The rest of the syntax is hindi po pwede. This one is really constant. Ito. Okay, this one talaga is constant. Yung from PHP papunta sa hanggang migration. Okay? Nakuha ba? Again. And then I will try to run this one. Ayan. If you notice, meron siyang successfully created or successfully. And look at this one. Diba? You have add fave color column. Diba? Nakita ninyo guys, paano siya? Ang dugang na file. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Please make yung activity ra ba next week, di ba? So, for example, di pa siya mag-reflect dito sa Dania. It will not reflect directly. So we need to make some changes dayon. So to make some changes, you click on this one and you will notice na meron tayong dalawang function. The first one is for running the migration. The second one is to doing if ever you will do some reverse on it. Okay? So delete this part here. Itong void bitaw. Delete this one as well as the colon. Okay? Kasi meron tayong ilalagay dyan. So for example, for this part here, we will use the schema, yung ginawa natin kanina. Na, schema is actually the class. Look at this one, di ba? Yan na siyang gi-import na daan. You have schema table, tapos we will indicate dayon kung anong table yung i-modify natin, and then we'll try to create a function that will execute our desired output for our table. So you have it here, tapos ganyan. Yan. Okay. We have here table, tapos gawa tayo ng string na sa Tagalog, fave color, di ba? For example. Tapos lagyan natin ng sa Tagalog, nullable kay okay. Para pwedeng kahit wala siyang laman, Okay, we can still perform it right then and there. Ayan. Diba? Wala na siyang error. So for this part here, ba't nag-error siya? Ayan. So for this part here, you will notice na I use the schema. So this part here is this part here is indicating kung anong table ang gagawan ko ng modifications. This part naman here, this function here, will indicate kung ano yung dapat kong i-add, di ba? What will I add to that particular table? So for this example, I will add a column fave color and then it's nullable. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng wala siyang laman. Nakuha. Now, for this part naman doon sa reverse migration, I am also required to do the same. But this time, instead of adding, I will do the drop. Okay? So, you have it here, and then I'll just copy and paste. Okay, same naman sila mangyapon. But this part lang, Danny, instead of string, I will just type here, drop column. Okay? Sir, bakit meron tayong reverse migrations? Because sometimes, for example, if you would want na, like for example, naka-add ka dito, di ba? Di ba? You have created this one. This part here will also help us. For example, if you are to make bitaw like, gi-add na ko ni siya, and then later part, kay, di siya needed di ay. So we can just call this function lang dayon. Okay? The down part of this added column. Nakuha ba? Okay. So how do we do that one man dayon? So how do we run this one dayon? So you just go to your terminal. So after making some changes, again, kung wala nimo na-on ang imong autosave dani, pirmi ka mag-control S. Okay? So to do the migration, para bitaw kabantay mo dani, wala pa siya fave color. So to do that one, you just type php make migrate. Make migration day, sorry. Migrate. Di ko sure. That's why to ano lang. Migrate ata. PHP artisan make migration. Ayan. What should be the migration name? Hindi ko ba na-specify? Oops, wait muna. Parang hindi ko na-specify kung ano yung migration natin. Example, create flights, blah, blah, blah. Hindi ko ba na-specify? Na-specify ko man, di ba? Migration, blah, 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 blah. Ito siguro din, sorry. I'll just copy this one na lang. Rename. Ba't hindi ko siya na ano? Ayan. Nangay pa siya sa pangalan. Ba't kaganina iswa na siya na gano'n? Okay, you have it here now. Database migration, ito. Ayan. I have indicated, if ever man galing, when you run this one, it will ask for a migration name. You can just copy bitaw the file here. Ay, hala. Wait muna. It's not migration siguro, no? Let's try to check. Again, if there will be error, kindly take note of it. Wrong lagi siya lagi. Wait muna, guys. Bakit? Nag-ano siya noon? Sige daw, Ben. Balik siya. Ato na i-delete, guys. There's something wrong with my code. Wait muna. Kindly take note of the error pag yapon na. Clear. But ayaw. PHP artisan. Yung first ko na code, it's PHP artisan migrate. Ano siguro? Sige daw. PHP artisan migrate. Ayan pala. Sorry guys, it's not migration but migrate today guys. Diba if you notice na migrate na ko siyang tulo. So since I added man another migration, dapat today ako yung gibutang na di is PHP artisan migrate. When you say PHP artisan make migration, that would mean that you are trying to add a file here. Again na, pag make migration, meaning mag-add ka og file dani. If you will just do PHP artisan migrate, you are trying to put na dayon these migrations to our database. If we will try to refresh this one, di ba? Yeah, is wave color wala. Hello. Nakita wala.
Sir.
Oh, diba?
Sir.
So for this particular demonstration, we can now ano dayon conclude nga without us accessing bitaw kani bitaw nga interface, we can already na dayon we can already check, di ba? We can make changes on the database. We can do make changes. We can add if we would want to add something, di ba? Nakuha ba guys? Sige. Nakuha wala? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sige. Now, let's go to the second part. Ay, wait sa muna. Questions Adel? Sige daw, be. Let's try to ask if may questions ba. Sige daw. If nabay nalibog dadtong part dadto or if there are confusing points dadto. Again, run the PHP artisan migrate if you would want to execute the files in the migration bitaw nga folder papunta doon sa database natin. If you would want naman to add another migration or another file for the migration, what you will do is PHP make migration. PHP artisan make migration. If you would want naman to refresh the total or from the very beginning talaga, lahat ng mga migration files mo, you will do PHP artisan fresh. PHP artisan migrate fresh. Nakuha ba wala? Sige, thumbs up daw, be. If nakuha ba, sige. Bante, wala nasulat sa notes. Again, you are required to write on your notes because that will be your reference dayon by next week Tuesday sa to activity. Okay? Sige. Now, let's try to have let's try to have forms. Sige. I have here, what you call this one? Meron ako ditong isang, ang tawag dito. I have here one homepage, bitaw katong blade na to sa homepage, bitaw. Can you see my screen, guys? Hello?
Dili, sir.
What do you mean, dili? Ay, wala ko nag-share. Yan. Ay, sa pakit lang. Wala ko nag-share din. Wait sa. Okay. The entire na lang. Okay. So if you notice here, di ba? Kumani siya. So na ko'y homepage. Wait muna ha. Ako ni pang close para dito mag-crowd din. So I have here tawag dito. A homepage blade. Okay? Now can you please help me walk through sa daw day? Guys, I would want this one to be executed sa akong local server. Kasi buhato na ako man. Sige daw, be. Atong i-refresh ang inyong learnings dadtong last na to nga demonstration, ay last na to nga lab session. Ano yung unang gagawin ko? Sige daw, be.
PHP artisan server.
Ako na siyang mapadagan diretso, de? Or do I need to check muna if meron siyang routes? Nasa routes? Wala. Wala may routes niya. Diba? Ano yung mga dapat kong i-consider?
Mag-imo pag controller, sir.
Okay, let's
Then,
start muna with the
din siya
controller.
sa
Sige.
views.
Sige. Ano nga ulit yung syntax for the controller? Can you please help me sa muna? How do I create the controller?
PHP
artisan
controller.
colon
Make double colon or one colon? One colon or double control or double colon?
one.
One. Sige. Try natin. Let's use user controller. Yeah. Oops. Parang mali ata, guys. It's controller, not controller. Clear muna natin. Controller. Diba? Controller. User controller. Yan. Where can I look for this one, guys? Saan ko ito makikita? Hello?
Nasa app, sir.
Nasa app, tapos HTTP. Yan. Very good.
HTTP.
Bakit may mga laman na dito? Ay, wait lang. I am not pala in the ano. Wait sa muna. Wait sa guys. Na ako sa, nari mo din. I have here, nasa app, tapos HTTP. Ayan. Okay. So, what will I do if I would want nga the controller will just view the file? Sige daw. Ano yung gagawin ko? Sige daw. Who can still remember? Anong gagawin ko muna? I have already the view, di ba? Mayroon akong blade. I have already created the controller. Ano yung gagawin ko? Wala. Hindi na ako ni-Raymond pag-perform ang kanigaling pag-submit sa ano. Sige daw. What will I do, guys? Public. Ang taman. Public. Function. Tama ba ako? Ganyan. Correct, Dili? Sige.
Yes, sir.
What's inside of this one dahil? Gusto naman ako nga ipakita ang sudaning blade man silbi. Ano tong blade na to, Dani?
Return view.
Return
Very
view.
good. Return view tapos sama ni siya.
Homepage.
Homepage.
Homepage. Very good. Okay ni siya. Patulapin next. After this one. Atulain ko sa
I-open
where
ang
will I go?
routes.
Very good. I will go to the routes and click on the web. So for example, this one. Ano yung una kong gagawin, guys?
Import, sir.
Very good. I will import. Anong i-import ko? Use.
Ang controllers.
Ganyan ba or pa ganito?
Use,
Forward slash or backslash? Ito or ganyan? Which is which?
Kato, sir.
Ano? App tapos HTTP slash ano pa? Controllers tapos
controller.
use controller. User or use controller? User controller to the. Okay. Next, ano yung gagawin ko? Grabe, route. Tapos, anong lalagay ko dito, guys? Hello?
Flash homepage.
Flash homepage, very good. Homepage. How about this one? Ano ilalagay ko dito? Sa loob ng square braces.
User controller.
User controller, sir.
User controller. Tama.
Class.
Tama ba? Ah?
Yes, sir.
Tama?
Semicolon ka, sir. Dua ka colon.
Semicolon. Double colon,
Colon and
double colon
colon.
class. One colon here or double?
Double.
Double, sir.
Double, sir.
Double, bro. Tapos here, Dayod, we have
Homepage, sir.
page. Yeah. Try na to, sige. Atong ipa-page partition, sir. Try na to. Slash homepage. Error lagi, guys. No? Use app controllers, use controller does not exist. Sige, debug natin.
Kulag R, sir.
Ano ang mali dito?
Controller ang nabutang, sir.
Very good. Refresh. Ayan, di ba? We now have the registration form. Nakuha. Nakita ba niyo, guys? Can you see it, guys? Hello? Pag hindi manubag lagi, hindi na ako ni padayon yun. Sige daw.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes,
Tama
sir.
wala.
Kita, sir.
Yes, sir.
So ang atong goal
Oo,
karon ani,
sir.
di ba? Our goal for today is that, di ba, we have here 3 input fields, di ba? One for username, one for email, one for password, and then a button. We would want now whatever we input here will be submitted to our database kanadani. Although 8 kabuk ang nadani, but since we put them man or we declared them as nullable, like pwede nga wala siya sulod, just for the demonstration part, we can add also a new record to the table even if di siya kompleto yun. Okay? So let's focus muna on adding username, email, and password to this table. Okay? Sige. So to do that one, let's try muna to analyze kung ano ba dapat yung mga what are the things we need to consider first. Okay? First things first is that we need to go to our route muna. If you notice in our route, 'di ba? This one is get, 'di ba? Ito yung get natin. Remember what I told you anong ibig sabihin ng get, 'di ba? Get is usually for viewing, 'di ba? So if you would want to create a route for viewing, you use the get, okay? But if you would want to create a route that will facilitate the process of accepting values from the input forms papunta sa database, you will do the other way around. Ang opposite ng get is post. Okay? So dito naman, for example, we cannot just go directly and then just erase bitaw. Like for example, yung ginagawa ng iba kay, sir, copy-paste mo lang tapos lagyan mo ng post dito. Hindi ganyan. Okay, hindi ganyan. You go back to your blade. Okay? Go back to your blade and then you try to analyze your form. If you try to check on this one, ang sabi dito, 'di ba? In our basic form handling natin sa web development, if meron tayong form dito, we have 2 attributes which are used to facilitate the process of transferring your input papunta doon sa database natin. We have the action and then the method. The action will tell us kung ano yung route na pupuntahan niya. So if you notice, I've created here an action. I've indicated here the action na if this one or if this form, itong form na to, if this one will be submitted, papunta siya sa route na slash submit, di ba? And of course, I've also indicated here na hindi siya get, but rather it's post. Okay? So muna siya. Nagets ba ninyo? So it's not, when we go back to our route dayon, it's not slash homepage, but you will create another route that is dedicated for submit. Okay? Now submit. So every time i-click niya ang submit, kaya siya nga route paingon dayon kaning slash submit. Okay? So to do that one, you type route, tapos same lang din naman. Same lang din yung ano niya, yung tawag dito, yung syntax niya. Comma, tapos ganyan. That's how I write my route. Para bitaw di ko malimot, okay? So, you have it here slash submit. Tapos, I will indicate here gyapon. Same ra gyapon. We have here user control. What ba guys? User controller. Tapos, I have here class. And then, I have here submit gyapon. Okay. What's the problem with this one man? Sige daw ba? What's the problem with this route? What do you think will be the problem about this route? Will this work, dili? Hello? Will this work, dili?
Backend, sir.
Ang kuan sir kanang post.
Yan man. Will this work, yes or no? Diba? Kani siya, mo-work siya, it's because in our user controller, we have invoked na meron siyang method dito na homepage. If we will try to go to our controller, yung user controller, do we have submit here? Nawala. Hello, nawala. Na-submit na function,
Wala,
wala.
sir.
Wala. So muna siya ang error dito, guys. So if I will run this one, for example, I will run this one, and then I will just refresh this one. If I will click submit, ano galing? Diba? It's page expired. Kasi nga, wala siyang ano. Ba? So later on, pagyapon ako siyang i-explain pagyapon dani. So, if you will try to go to our controller muna, again, the main thing na sa'yo kanina, or what's wrong about this one is that we have created a route indicating na the user controller should invoke the method submit. But if you will try to check our user controller here, wala tayong na-create na method or function about submit, di ba? Like ano yung ipapakita niya. So what we will do is that let's try muna to create another function. Tapos we'll name it as submit. Okay? And then dito naman, just for ano lang, for demo purposes, lagyan natin ng, although it's not allowed diba, during our demonstration, our lab session, hindi allowed, but just for the sake of checking it if nakasolve bagit sa datong route, we'll try to put it here, ang nilagay ko dito today, hello from the submit na lang, submit function. Okay, something like that. Okay, and so every time that this route will invoke the method submit under user controller, ito yung lalabas muna for the meantime, okay? Because we're still developing man the module, okay? So what will happen next is that if I will try to run it again, yapon, for example, refresh natin, you will notice na it's no longer 404, it's now 419 expired. The 419 expired is an error message default by Laravel to to help in the prevention of a CSRF, sorry. If you will type, example, Laravel CSRF, CSRF, ayan. CSRF, ayan, it's a protection token by Laravel. Ang ibig sabihin niyan is that it's ano nga ibig sabihin ng CSRF? I think it's counter blah blah blah. Check yung meaning. Ayan, counter na yun, cross-site request forgery. So, bakit 419? Because Laravel will not allow you to accept input outside the framework. Okay? So, temporarily, you can make some changes on it. Like pwede pa rin mo siya we can do some troubleshooting about this one. So yung gagawin natin is that you go back to your homepage na Blade and then you locate yung form bitaw. After the form tags dito, lagyan mo lang yan ng @CSRF. Okay? And then save mo. And then if you will try to run it again, for example, submit natin, di ba? Pikita niya dayon. If you will now try to inspect the element for homepage, pag mag-inspect ka dyan, if you will try to open the form, di ba? Meron siyang nakalagay na token value, di ba? And it's naka-hash siya. So, this is only a temporary solution because you are still doing some development, mangyod. So that would mean temporarily, Laravel will allow you to do input submissions outside the framework. Okay? Pag-click mo yung submit, you have hello from the submit function. Ibig sabihin, the route is accessible and the controller is working. Nakuha? Sige. So, saan man nato, or how do we do this one na sinagali? How do we do it na dawato niya or Laravel will accept our user input? Okay? So, yung gagawin natin is that we will make modifications on our function. Okay? Ito sa submit. We'll try to do some modifications dito sa submit. But before that, ano muna tayo? Since we are dealing naman yun with database, let's give you an introduction to the model. Okay? So, di ba, we have model, view, controller. Guys, can you still hear me? Or are we still... Can you still see my screen, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, intro ko muna yung model na part ng framework natin. Model is under app gyapon. If you'll go to app and then you click on model, ayan. By default, si Laravel, gumawa na siya ng template niya ng model. Okay? But later on, if yung sa migration kanina, merong syntax si Laravel on how to create another migration na file. Si Laravel din, they also have a command on how to create model based on your required ang tawag dito, required operations. Kasi nga, si model, it handles the crude operations of your Laravel project. Creating, updating, deleting, and all of those other database concerns. Si model yung mag-handle. Okay? Di ba, if you could still remember in your spaghetti coding type bitaw, katong sa manual bitaw, di ba, you will do the query, you will present na yun, the records. In Laravel, you will do that one all in all in model. Okay? Sa model yan mangyayari. So, check muna natin, for example, kanina when we created our Laravel project, automatic ito, may default na yan na user. Okay? User model. So if you will try to check on this one, you have it here. We have here attributes that are mass assignable. You have for serialization. Okay? And then you also have here for array, yung pass association. But let's take muna into consideration yung example natin, yung nasa name, email, tapos sa password. So, this one is yung first natin, di ba? This is the first model created na wala akong changes na nilagay. So, if you will compare this one to our table na schema kanina, like for example dito, is it still a name, di ba? Hindi na siya name. It's already a username. So we need to change this one, guys. So from name, change natin ito into username. Okay? Nakuha ba? So username, email, tsaka password yung kukunin natin. Nagets? Wala. Okay. Now, we are okay with our model. Again, this is just an intro. The more of the model sessions will be in the upcoming weeks pa. Katulad sa pag-create sa model, how do we make some changes on it. So for now, we're just using lang the default model just for this demonstration. So for our user controller naman, what we will do is that we will try to import muna the model. So how do we import the model? Wait lang. So to import the model, kindly go to this part here. Ayan. Diba? So we will import man the model para we can use it in our controller. So yung gagawin natin is that we will use it, for example, same lang din, use app / model / model, it's models / user ba? Yeah, user. Ayan. Ayan. So we have here imported the model na user, and we can now use it in our controllers. So paano ba siya tatawagin sa controller? Simple lang. To call it sa controller, what you will do is that you'll have user double colon create. Kindly look at the syntax. Ay, wait muna. Before that, we call the model. Let's try to make some validation dito. Diba, if you notice, may galit ka, wala ko na ano. If you will try to check on this one, if I will submit this, diba mo submit siya, maski bitaw, walay sulod. Diba? Maski walay sulod siya, maski bitaw siya yapon. So Laravel can do or can also, ang tawag dito, provide you with different functions for validation, which is quite simple compared sa JavaScript bitaw nga form validation. So I'll give you muna an example. If for example, we would want to require bitaw, gusto na ito na i-require ni siya, di ba? Usually atong binabuhat is, we do that one in our homepage and then we put here dayon the word required, di ba? But in Laravel, they have this kind of function in ano yung, wait muna. Let's try to create, di ba, function submit. Tapos will indicate two parameters dayon. The first one is request. Ito. Para we can use this one request. We have request and then we have a $sign request as well. So yan yung parameters natin. And we'll try to have as well a variable that will help us in accepting the input coming from this form. Okay? So for example lang ito, you can use other variable. Pero just for this ano lang, I will use incoming fields. Incoming_fields. Okay? And then let's try to have it, or let's associate it, not associate, but equate it, with the parameter request. And then this is how you validate this one. Look at this one. you will just type validate. Ito yung medyo okay talaga sa Laravel. Ito yung nagustuhan ko sa Laravel. You will just have it validate. Okay? And then, lagyan mo ng square braces. Tapos, in between here, will be the validation process. For example lang ito si username, diba? Let's do association array. Asan ba yun? Can I do double? Single na lang. For example, username. If you will go to your homepage blade here, the name of our input field here is username. Okay? Ito, di ba? This one also, di ba? Ito yung binabasa ng ating input fields, and then ito rin yung magiging reference niya whenever it's being accessed by the database, yung username natin. Okay. Let's go back to our controller. So username, lagyan lang natin, or let's just try to associate it with, let's do association array, tapos lagyan mo ng required. Okay? Copy paste lang natin para ano. So every time you will do another validation, for example, for password, you put a comma on it, lagyan mo ng comma, and then on the last one, for example, email pa rin hindi, sorry. This one is email. This one naman is password. So please note na on the last one, bitaw, on the last attribute, you are not required to put a comma, okay? Yun lang if you would want to add another one, okay? Can you remember that one? So if I will save it, and then refresh natin to. If I will click on this one, look what will happen. It will just go back to the submit lang yun. Like di sa mo padayon pa yung sa katong route ganina. Nakuha ninyo? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's now try to
Sir.
use the user bitaw. Wait muna natin. So we have here user. Okay. Tawag natin si user. Tapos, am I right? User ba yun? Yeah, user. Create. Tapos, we have here, gamitin natin si incoming fields as our basis. Okay. Ayan. Yan lang yung ano natin. Yan lang yung kinakailangan natin. Di ba? To insert, look at this one, guys. To insert our data from this form, you just need this code. If you will do this one in the manual, bitaw taas pakistara ni siya. Like mag-query pa ko, identify pa na ako unsa ang mga fields nga gamiton. But this one, ito lang yung gagamitin ko. 'Di ba? So for example, kindly look at this one. Ito yung gagamitin nating form, and then kindly look at this one. Wala pang laman yung database natin. If we will try to, for example, Neptali 3E. Tapos lagyan ko dito ng neptali3e at email.com. Tapos yung password naman is 1234. For example, if I will submit this, diba, hello from the submit form. Ibig sabihin, it was able to access the route. Ito, na-access niya yung route. Tapos, it was able to invoke use the user controller, tapos invoke niya yung submit na function, which indicates na to do the validation part and of course, do the insert process. Ito. If you will try to refresh your database, look at this one. Na-insert wala, di ba? Kita nyo si Neptali3E example, at tapos yung password. Sir, bakit ganyan yung mukha ng password nyo? Because naka-hash ito. Okay? Kaya again, let's have to do it again. For example, test01. Tapos test at email.com. Tapos same password. Click mo yung submit. And then you have it here. Refresh mo to, di ba? You guys, guys, you have test01. And of course, yung password na we asked for it. Di ba? Nakuha ba? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Sir.
Okay. Did you happen to write all of it? Kaya mura ba inyong gamitin na ba as reference sa inyong activity next week? Okay? Akong ibalik ang sa ang tawag sa user controller. Sige, I will now entertain questions. Sige, may question ba? Hello, may question ba? Kung walang question, give me a thumbs up. Legombres, what's your question? Brian Pilares, what's your question? Brian, what's your question?
Ay, sir, good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, kanang sa pag-return, sir ba? Hello from the submit
Kani siya?
function. Dito sa web, yes, sir. Kining,
This
unsa
one?
di ko na, sir, mugawas dito, sir. Yes, sir.
Kanya lang sa kay for flagging na may nako. This one is actually this is just an indicator nga na-access na ako ang route bitaw. If I will try to if I will try to remove this one, mabot magyapon sa gyapon. Look what will happen na. Good question. Ang purpose lang dito kay for me bitaw to know nga na-access niya ang route. Pero usually, ayang ipakita dayon kay blank page man gidayon. Mutong ibutahan ako na lang sa nalang og murag flagging bitaw nga murag flag message kumbaga. Share na ako ang entire screen guys ha. Kahit lang. Atong i-demo kay para mag So for example, test 02. Tapos dahil get test 2 dayon. Tapos i-submit na ako. Diba? Blank siya. Kaya ako tugitangtang ang return bitaw nga akong gi-echo bitaw. But if I will try to check here, ano magali? Diba? Na-insert gyapon sa gyapon. Kaya para bitaw makabalo ko nga okay na-access na ako. Instead of me bitaw having here nga blank lagi siya, I just put lang a message. It's just one of my practices. Okay, sige. That's a good question. What else?
Thank you, sir.
Sige daw. Another question. Meron ba? Kung wala, give me a thumbs up daw, be. Okay, sige. Wala man siguro yung siguro, no? So, for your attendance, kindly send a picture sa inyong notes ninyo sa atong GC. I will accept it until 2:45 only. Okay? So, finalize your notes. And of course, if you will be asking me, sir, can we add, for example, mga ganina, tama sila, sir, pwede mag-add sa among notes namo, like namin nalimutan, pwede ra. Basta kay next week, dapat muna inyong dadun ninyo. Kung walang notes, walang lab session na mangyayari. Okay? Can I request everyone to please turn on their camera for our documentation?